Hello and welcome to another On Deck Baseball gameplay video. Today we're diving back into the King of the Hill tournament featuring On Deck Baseball Pro, and we're going to have the returning Kings of the Throne who are looking for their third victory in a row, 1990 Cincinnati National League. Having defeated 1988 Los Angeles National League in their last game, they now face their toughest challenger yet in 1956 New York American League. Before we dive into these teams, matchups, and lineups, please hit that thumbs up and leave a comment below. That all helps these videos gain a wider audience. And you can find the 1956 New York American League team in the History's Best of the Best 7 set, and the 1990 Cincinnati National League team in the History's Best of the Best 6 set. Those links are going to be below these videos. Last game, the 1990 Cincinnati Ball Club took down 1988 Los Angeles in a great matchup between pitchers that ended up with a score of 6-4. Randy Myers came in to close out that ball game in the top of the ninth and gave up 3 runs. So not a great showing by him, but Cincinnati was able to edge it out because of a 2-run bomb in the bottom of the 8th by Mariano Duncan. So an important, a couple of runs there. So their newest challenger, as I mentioned, is 1956 New York American League, which won the vote in the Facebook group by a slim margin against the 1984 San Diego Ball Club. And we're going to go through this lineup real quick. So at shortstop, we have Gil McDougald, a .311 hitter, 13 home runs. Left field, we have Enos Slaughter, .289 hitter for 1956. Then we have your Triple Crown winner, Mickey Mantle, the Commerce Comet, a .353 average, 52 home runs. What a year by Mickey Mantle. Solid defender. I think one of the things that surprised me most about this ball club was how good their defense actually is. I knew the hitting was there, I knew the pitching was there, but I was pleasantly surprised at how good the defense was. Yogi Berra is going to be your cleanup hitter behind the plate, getting the catching duties, .298 hitter, 30 home runs. Hank Bauer, your right fielder, .241 average, 26 home runs. Bill Moose-Scourin will be the DH today. We are running a DH in the King of the Hill tournament, a .308 average, 23 home runs. Joe Collins will be your first baseman, .225 hitter, 7 home runs. Billy Martin getting your second base action, .264 average, 9 home runs. Longtime manager, big good friend of Mickey Mantle. Andy Carey will be in the 9-hole, your third baseman, .237 average, 7 home runs. The lineup for Cincinnati remains largely the same. However, we do have a new catcher that will be in the lineup, and that will be Jeff Reed. He is solid against left-handed pitchers, and a reason for that, him getting the start behind the plate, is because we have Whitey Ford on the mound for 1956 New York. A 2.47 ERA, 1.20 WHIP, and a record of 19-16. 141 strikeouts against 84 walks, 18 complete games in 1956. Danny Jackson will be getting the start here for Cincinnati. Just a 6-6 record, but he was a very important cog in the wheel. That was 1990 Cincinnati. His stamina is a 5, but endurance is just a 1. I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenges that Cincinnati is going to face in this ball game. Their bullpen came in a little bit tired in the last game. They have not had a day off. If they win this game, they will have a day off and get more rest for the bullpen. But Dibble and Myers both need 2 days rest. They are available to come into the game, but those 2 days rest will hit their ratings. They do have Norm Charlton, who is completely rested, so we might see him getting some action here. So before we get on to first pitch, we're going to switch up our pitchers here. I do always put the ratings at the top of the scorecard so I can keep the pitchers on their backs. Makes the game go a little bit faster. We're going to put Whitey Ford over with Cincinnati and Danny Jackson over with 1956 New York American League, the newest challenger in the King of the Hill tournament. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with first pitch. Danny Jackson again on the mound. Gil McDougald will be leading off for 56 New York. It's going to be righty versus lefty action here. It's going to be a +2 on the roll. That is going to be a pitcher's card. And a 2-1 is going to be a strikeout. So the first batter of the game will strike out as Danny Jackson cuts down McDougald to start things off. Enos Slaughter now the batter, lefty versus lefty. It's going to be -1. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Danny Jackson. A 5-4 is going to be a ground ball. And Slaughter will ground out right back to Jackson, who shoves it over to Morris at first for the second out of the game, and that is going to bring up your Triple Crown winner, Mickey Mantle. We'll check out the matrix on that card. Fantastic year, fantastic matrix, and a fantastic card. So, Mickey Mantle, a switch hitter. It's going to be +3 on the roll. That is going to be a batter's card for Mantle. Let's see if he can do some damage here in his first at-bat. He does not. It's a 4-6. Is going to be a ground ball plus, so we possibly could reach first base. Again, I will be reading off of the blue die first. That ground ball is going to go to first base, and Morris diving to get the ball. He's going to try and shove it over to Jackson for the third out of the inning, and where we go here, his arm is a 2 against the risk first base on Mantle, and we're going to roll 1 die. We roll a 6, and Mantle beats it out for an infield base hit. Not what you think Mantle's going to do, but with that speed early on in his career, he's able to beat that play out. And now we're going to have Yogi Berra coming to the plate. He has 1 on and 2 away. Lefty versus lefty. It's going to be equal roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Berra. 4-8 is going to be a walk. So now we have 2 on, 2 out, and up steps Hank Bauer. Hank Bauer, a big part of this Yankees ball club, right fielder, strong arm, good defender, got some speed. He is righty versus lefty. It's going to be +1. That's going to be a batter's card for Bauer. A 9-6 is a base hit plus. Well, we know that's going to score Mantle as he was going on contact. Berra is going to possibly try to go to third. Let's see where it is. That ball is going to go to right field. The right fielder's arm, O'Neill, is a 4. I don't think we're going to do it. So it's a 1 RBI single for Hank Bauer as New York gets on the scoreboard first here in the top of the first. That's going to bring up Moose Skowron. 2 on, 2 out. Righty versus lefty. It's going to be +2. That's going to be a batter's card for Skowron. A 7-6 is a base hit. That's going to move Berra to third. Do we want to try and score? Where does it go? The 2. It goes to center field. Center fielder Davis is a forearm, and it looks like Berra's going to be hiding out at third base as well. And that's going to bring up Joe Collins now with bases loaded and 2 away. Lefty versus lefty. It's -2. It's going to be a pitcher's card. Can Jackson get out of this? A 4-4. It certainly looks like it as he jams Collins for a pop-up. And that pop-out is going to go to right. So short right field for the pop-out will be the third out here in the top of the first. But New York is the first to get on the scoreboard as an RBI single by Hank Bauer gives them a 1-0 lead. Whitey Ford on the mound. Barry Larkin will be leading off for Cincinnati. It's going to be righty versus lefty. And that is going to be a -1. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. 8-4 is going to be a flyout. So Larkin gets the bat on the ball, but he'll fly out to left as Slaughter will take it in. Billy Hatcher now the batter, 1 away. Right-handed batter against a left-handed pitcher. It's going to be -2. And it's going to be a 7, good for a batter's card. And a 5-3 is going to be a possible error. We'll roll on the same matrix on an 8-4, which is going to be a ground ball plus. We're going to see if that error is made on a ground ball to second base, which is Billy Martin. As I mentioned earlier, defense very good for this team. Going to roll 1 die here. We roll a 10, and it is an error. So Billy Hatcher will reach on an error to second, as Martin couldn't come up with it, and that's going to bring up Paul O'Neill, left-handed batter against a left-handed pitcher, -2. That's going to go down to a pitcher's card. 5-8 is going to be a flyout. So O'Neill will fly out to center field for the second out of the inning. Eric Davis, Eric the Red, now coming up. 2 away, 1 on. Right-handed batter, left-handed pitcher. It's going to be -1. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. A 9-3 is a ground out. So Davis grounds out to third for the final out here in the bottom of the first. Headed now to the top of the second. Bottom of the order coming up for New York. Billy Martin, who made that error not too long ago, will be the first batter here in the top of the second. Right-hander batter against a left-handed pitcher, it's going to be +1. That's going to be a batter's card for Martin. Can he make up for the error? A 1-6 does not look like it, as that is going to be a ground out to shortstop, 6-3. Andy Carey steps up. And this will be his first at-bat of the game, righty versus lefty. It's going to be +1. That's going to be a batter's card for Carey. 8-6 is a walk. So Carey reaches on a walk. We have 1 out, 1 on, and the top of the order coming up for New York. Righty versus lefty, it's going to be +2. That's a batter's card for McDougald. 2-6 is going to be a strikeout. So Jackson gets strikeout on McDougald for the second time. And Enos Slaughter now up 2 away, 1 on. It's going to be +1 on, it's going to be -1 on the roll. It's going to go down to a pitcher's card. And a 2-3 is going to be a strikeout. So Jackson gets out of it without allowing a run. New York will strand a runner on first. Heading now to the bottom of the second, Hal Morris will lead things off here for Cincinnati. It's going to be lefty versus lefty. And that's going to be a -3. That's going to go down to a pitcher's card for Ford. A 9-9, though, is a double. Morris will get it into the gap. And we have a leadoff double for Cincinnati as Todd Benzinger will come up with a man in scoring position. Benzinger, a switch hitter, will be batting from the right side. It's going to be -1. That's going to go down or stay about a pitcher's card. 8-3 is going to be a ground ball. So will this advance a runner? The ground ball will go to 6. Will go to the pitcher, will not. And that is 1 away. Man on second, Chris Sabo now the batter. Chris Sabo did not have a hit in the last game. He was 0 for 4, so not having a great tournament thus far. It's going to be -2 on the roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. A 9-10 is a base hit, so Sabo comes through. Morris is going to stop at third, though, as it falls in short. We have first and third with 1 away, and Jeff Reed getting his first at-bat of the tournament. He was a .251 hitter in 1993 home runs. As I mentioned, he's in there because he is strong against left-handed pitchers, and it's going to be an equal roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Reed. A 1-4, though, is a strikeout, so Ford gets the better of him. It's going to be 2 away now, first and third. Mariana Duncan, who hit that 2-run blast last game, is going to be the batter. It's going to be righty versus lefty. It's going to be +1. That's going to be a batter's card for Duncan. 4-7 is going to be a ground ball. That ground ball is going to go to third base. A 5-3 will do it here in the bottom of the second. And we're going to head now to the top of the third. And Mickey Mantle will be leading off. See if he can get things done here. He had an infield single in the top of the first and scored a run. It's going to be +3. That's going to stay a pitcher's card. A 6-10 is going to be a ground ball, and that grounder is going to go to first base. So Morris will take it himself for a 3-U, and here comes Yogi Berra. He walked and ended up stranded on third in the top of the first. It's going to be equal roll. It's going to be a pitcher's card. 4-3 is going to be a pop out, so Berra gets jammed, and he's going to pop out to first. So Morris getting a lot of action so far here in the top of the first. Hank Bauer will now be the batter. He had a single and an RBI in the first inning. It's going to be +1. That's going to be a batter's card for Bauer. Can he add to his statistics in this game? A 7-5, and he will draw a walk. So we have a man on with 2 away here in the top of the third, and Bill Scourin will be your batter. It's going to be +2. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Jackson. A 1-8 is going to be a possible error. We're going to roll on the same matrix on a 1-6, which is going to be on a catcher, which is Jeff Reed. So he's getting the start here in place of Joe Oliver. Can he make the play and get out of this inning? We roll 1 die. It's a 7. He does not. So even though there's 2 outs and a man on, with a man on first, they can still get the advancement, and they do. So Bauer's going to end up at second, and Skowron is on with an error on the catcher on a strikeout. It's first and second, 2 away. Here comes Joe Collins. Danny Jackson needs to get out of this inning. It's going to be a -2 on the roll. It's going to be a pitcher's card. An 8-8 is a base hit. Bauer is going to come around to score. Skowron is going to end up at third, and we have an RBI single by Joe Collins, and New York now has a 2-0 lead. That is going to be an unearned run for Jackson. Billy Martin will be your batter. He's a right-handed batter against a left-handed pitcher. It is going to be it's going to be +1. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Jackson. A 9-10 is going to be a single. Skowron's going to come across the plate. He's going to score. Collins ends up at second. We have an RBI single for Billy Martin, and that is 3 runs against Jackson. We're going to have to roll on his poise chart. We roll a 10. It is a -1. He goes down to a 3-1. Not what Cincinnati wanted to see with this tired pen. That's going to bring up Andy Carey with 2 out. Men on first and second. And it's going to be +2 on the roll now. That's going to be a pitcher's card. A 6-1, and Jackson will get out of this as a ground ball will go to short. Larkin will pick it up, shoot it over to Morris for the 3rd out, but not before New York tacks on 2 more runs, and they now lead 2-0 going into the bottom of the 3rd. Whitey Ford, the batter, top of the order, coming up for Cincinnati. Barry Larkin 0 for 1 so far. Last game he was 0 for 3 with a walk, a run scored, and a stolen base. He's 0 for 1 so far in this game. It's going to be a right-handed batter against a left-handed pitcher. It's going to be -1. That's going to be a pitcher's card. A 2-2 is a strikeout, so Larkin gets cut down by Ford. Billy Hatcher will step up now. He reached on an error by Billy Martin in the bottom of the 1st. It's going to be -2. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. 5-10 is going to be a single, so Hatcher reaches on a single. And we have 1 on, 1 out, and Paul O'Neill up. It's going to be lefty versus lefty, -2. That's going to be a pitcher's card. 7-2 is going to be a ground ball, possible double play here. That ground ball is going to go to third base. Third baseman carry is a 4 on Hatcher. 70% chance of reaching second. He does not. So that's a 5-4, and second baseman Martin is a 4 as well. And O'Neill, a 9, does not make it, so a 5-4-3 double play will end the bottom of the 3rd. We will now head to the top of the 4th. Danny Jackson still on the mound, and the top of the order coming up for New York. McDougald 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Danny Jackson needs to get through these 2 innings for Cincinnati, or they're going to end up with a very tired pen going into the next game if they actually end up with the victory. So we're going to go as a, righty versus lefty. It's going to be +3 on the roll. That's going to be a batter's card for McDougald. A 2-7 is going to be a flyout. Flyout is going to go to left. Enos Slaughter 0 for 2 in the game, struck out and grounded out to the pitcher. It's going to be equal roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Slaughter. A 3-9 is going to be a ground out. Ground out going to first base. Morris picks it up for himself. And here comes Mantle. He is 1 for 2 with a run scored. Switch hitter, he's going to be about +4 on the roll. That's going to be a batter's card. Let's see what Mantle can do here. A 10-2, though, is a pop out. Mantle gets jammed, and he is going to pop it out to first. Morris tracks it down in foul territory for the 3rd out here in the top of the 4th. And that will do it for 1956 New York. We are heading to the bottom of the 4th. Whitey Ford in control here. Eric the Red will be the first batter. Righty versus lefty, it's going to be -1. That's going to be a batter's card for Eric Davis. A 1-6 is going to be a strikeout. Hal Morris, who is getting a lot of action on the defensive side, he's going to be the batter. It's a -3. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. A 3-7 is going to be a ground out to Ford. So 1-3. And here comes Todd Benzinger, the DH. He is 0 for 1 so far. He grounded out to the pitcher. And it's going to be a switch hitter. It's going to be -1. That's going to go down to a pitcher's card for Ford. And a 2-9 is going to be a ground ball. And that grounder is going to go to second. So a 4-3 will be a third out here in the bottom of the fourth. So we're heading now to the top of the fifth. New York in control, 3-0. And we're going to have Yogi Berra coming to the plate. Lefty versus lefty, it's +1. That's going to be a pitcher's card. 9-7 is going to be a base hit. So Berra is on for the second time here. And that's going to bring up Hank Bauer, who is 1 for 1 with a single, an RBI, a walk, and a run scored. So he's been a big producer so far in this game. And nobody out, man on first. It's going to be +2 on the roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card, though, for Jackson. A 5-8 is going to be a flyout. So Bauer gets some wood on it, but flies out to left. And Bill Skowron is now the batter. Skowron's going to be a +3 on the roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Skowron. 6-10 is going to be a walk. So he is on for the third time. He reached on an error in the third and had a base hit in the first. That's going to put runners at first and second with 1 out, and Joe Collins now stepping to the plate. Lefty versus lefty, it's -1. That's going to be a batter's card for Collins. And 8-9 is a base hit. Berra is going to stay at third. We have bases loaded and 1 out, and Billy Martin coming up. This part of the order has been excelling so far in this game, and he's going to be a +2 on the roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Martin. Can he put New York out ahead even more? A 10-5 is a ground ball. We're going to try for the double play to get him out of here. That ground ball is going to go to shortstop. Shortstop Larkin is a 4. Collins needs an 8. He does not get it. 6-4, and the second baseman Duncan is just a 2, trying to get Martin out. We roll a 3, and he does not get him, so the run is going to score. Skowron's going to move over to third on the fielder's choice. And New York now leads 4-0. There are 2 away. Runners on first and third now. Andy Carey, the batter. It's going to be +2. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Jackson. He needs to get out of it here, and he does. A 3-4. It's going to be a strikeout on Carey. So, with that, New York scores another run. Now leads 4-0. Head into the bottom of the fifth, and Chris Sabo would be their first batter against Whitey Ford, who has stifled this offense for Cincinnati. It's going to be a -2 on the roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. A 10-9 is going to be a double, though. Sabo gets another base hit, this time reaching second with nobody on, and Jeff Reed coming up. He struck out in his first and only at bat so far in the game. It's going to be equal roll. It's going to be a pitcher's card. 5-8 is going to be a flyout. So Reed is going to fly out to left field, 1 away. Mariano Duncan coming up. Can Duncan get Cincinnati back in this game? It's going to be righty versus lefty +1. It's going to be a batter's card for Duncan. 4-7 is going to be a ground ball. That grounder is going to go to third base, so it does not advance a runner, and we have 2 away. Runner on second in scoring position, looking to come around to score. Barry Larkin is going to try and give it his best to make that happen. It's going to be -1 on the roll. It's going to be a batter's card for Larkin. A 10-5 is a base hit. Sabo can chance scoring here. Let's see where it goes. It goes to right field. The right fielder's arm, Bauer, is a 4. Oh man, I don't know if we want to take that chance. It's only 50-50. We're not going to take that chance. We're going to try and score more than one run here as they're down by 4. Billy Hatcher is going to be the batter. It's going to be -2 on the roll. That's going to still be a batter's card for Hatcher. A 4-5, though, is going to be a ground ball, and that grounder is going to get Ford out of the inning as a 3-1 will get them the final out here in the bottom of the 5th. Now we head to the top of the order here in the top of the 6th. Danny Jackson has to roll on his fatigue. He is already a 3-1. And that's only a 30% chance of staying in the game. I think we're going to have to take him out. We're not going to put Charlton in. However, we are going to have to go with Rick Mahler. He had a couple of relief appearances in 1990. He is going to be your reliever here, as it's very early in the game and can't bring in any of the nasty boys just yet. He is a right-handed pitcher. He can go 4 innings if need be. And we're going to face the top of the order with our new pitcher, Rick Mahler. Alright, so it's going to be righty versus righty now. +1, that's going to be a pitcher's card. A 3-2 is going to be a ground out. 2 first base, 3U. Here comes Enos Slaughter. He's 0 for 3. He is a left-handed batter, so it's going to be a +1 here. It's going to be a batter's card for Slaughter. 4-6 is going to be a ground ball plus, and that goes to shortstop. The shortstop, Larkin, has a forearm. And let's see, can Enos Slaughter beat out an infield base hit? He needs a 7, 8, or 9 to be safe. He does not get it, so Larkin shoots it from his knees over to Morris for the second out of the inning, and that's going to bring up Mickey Mantle. Mantle, who did beat out an infield single in the first and scored a run. He's 1 for 3 so far. Switch hitter, it's going to be +2. That's going to be a batter's card for Mantle. 10-9. Well, I'll show you this column. You tell me if that's a home run. 10-9 is a home run. You got 5 consecutive home runs there, and Mantle hits a bomb for the 5th run of New York. So Mickey Mantle with the solo shot here and 2 away, and that's going to bring up Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra, he is 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. It's going to be +1 on the roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Berra. 8-7 is going to be a double. So here comes New York's offense. As a solo shot by Mantle and a double by Berra. They're looking to tack on more runs here in the top of the 6th. It's going to be righty versus righty. It's -1. That's going to be a pitcher's card. 9-2 is a flyout, though, for Bauer, as Bauer will end the top of the 6th here on a flyout to right field, but not before Mickey Mantle, the Commerce Comet, adds on another run with a solo blast, as New York now leads 5-0. Whitey Ford going here into the bottom of the 6th. We have to roll on his fatigue chart. First inning passed. It's a pretty good column there, though. We roll a 3. That is no change. So Ford staying in the ball game and in control, as he has not allowed a run yet for Cincinnati. Paul O'Neill will be the batter. He's 0 for 2. It's lefty versus lefty, -2. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. 4-7 is a flyout for O'Neill. That flyout is going to go to right. Eric Davis coming up. He's 0 for 2. A strikeout and grounded to third. It's going to be a -1. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. 5-8 is a flyout. Flyout for Davis to right field. So the right fielder, Bauer, getting some action. And Hal Morris now the batter. He's 1 for 2 with a double in the 2nd. It's going to be lefty versus lefty, -3. That's going to be a batter's card for Morris. A 1-2 is a strikeout. So a quick 1-2-3 inning for Whitey Ford as we head now to the top of the 7th. Bill Skowron will be your batter. He reached all 3 times, but reached on an error on a strikeout. in the third inning. It's going to be righty versus righty. It's going to be +1. That's going to be a batter's card for Skowron. A 3-9 is a flyout plus. Let's see where that goes. It could be a possible gapper here. It's going to go to left field, and Hatcher is your left fielder. His fielding is a 4. And the gap rating for Skowron is a 3, so it's a -1 on a roll here. It's a 7, so that ball is going to fall in the gap for a single. And we have 1 on, nobody out, and Joe Collins, the batter. Collins, a couple of singles with an RBI. It's going to be lefty versus righty. It's going to be equal roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Collins. A 7-6 is a walk, so he reaches for the third time. And we have first and second, nobody out here in the top of the 7th. New York looking to tack on more as Billy Martin will come up. He reached on a fielder's choice his last at bat, which scored a run, and that's going to be equal roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Martin. A 4-1 is a line out, possible double play here. Line out's going to go to first base. Morris is your first baseman, who's a 4 defender against Collins on base instincts, which is just a 2. It's a -2 on a roll. He dives back in safely though, so it's just a line out to first. And first and second, 1 away now. Andy Carey up. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. And it's going to be a -1 on a roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card. 7-6 is a walk. So he reaches. We now have bases loaded with just 1 out in the top of the order of this dangerous New York lineup coming up. Gil McDougald, he is 0 for 4 so far. Some would say he's due. And it's going to be a +1 on a roll. That's going to be a batter's card for McDougald. A 1-3, though, is going to be a line out. Another possible double play here. Line out goes to second base this time. And Duncan is just a 2 defender against Collins again, whose on-base instincts is a 2. So it's going to be equal roll, 6 and above. The batter is safe, or the runner is safe. And he gets tagged out. A line out to second base, and Duncan has the wherewithal to tag Collins before he can get back, and that is going to end this top of the 7th. A double play there gets Mahler out of the inning. That could be huge if Cincinnati can come back against Whitey Ford, who here in the bottom of the 7th will be rolling on his second inning passed on his fatigue chart. We roll a 6, which is, again, no change. Whitey Ford in control. That's going to bring up Todd Benzinger. Todd Benzinger is 0 for 2 in the game. It's a switch hitter. He will be batting from the right side. It's going to be -1. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. A 1-3 is a strikeout. Chris Sabo, the batter. Sabo 2 for 2 with a double. It's going to be -2 on a roll. That's going to go down to a pitcher's card for Ford. A 10-7 is a base hit, so Sabo reaches for the third time. And now he has 1 on, 1 out. And Jeff Reed, the batter. It's going to be lefty versus lefty, equal roll. It's going to be a batter's card for Reed. 7-10 is a walk. So Reed is aboard for the first time. It's going to be first and second, 1 away, and Mariano Duncan coming up. It's going to be +1 on the roll. It's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. A 1-1 is a strikeout. Gets Duncan down on strikes, and that's going to bring up the top of the order now. 2 away, 2 on. Barry Larkin, he's 1 for 3 in the game. It's going to be -1. It's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. 2-9 is a ground out. So Ford gets into a little bit of trouble, but sees his way out as the 5-3 will end the bottom of the 7th. Now we head to the top of the 8th. Mahler still on the mound, having pitched 2 innings and gave up a solo blast to Mickey Mantle, but other than that, he's gotten into some trouble, but out of it. And that is going to bring up Enos Slaughter for the first batter here in the top of the 8th. Slaughter 0 for 4 so far. It's going to be a +1 on the roll. It's going to be a pitcher's card. A 6-7 is going to be a ground out, so Slaughter continues to not have a great game, as it will be a 6-3 And he is now 0 for 5. And here comes Mickey Mantle, who had that solo shot in the 6th. Let's see what he can do here. It's going to be lefty versus right. It's going to be a +2 on the roll. And that is going to be a batter's card for Mantle. 6-3 is going to be a ground out this time, though. And a ground out to third, 5-3. That makes him 2 for 5 so far in the game. 2 runs scored, a home run. Yogi Berra now coming up. He is 2 for 3 with a double, a single, a run scored. Lefty versus righty. It's going to be +1 on the roll. That's going to be a batter's card. A 10-6 is a base hit, so Berra reaches for the 4th time, as he had a walk as well in the 1st. And we have a runner on first and 2-away. Hank Bauer, the batter. It's going to be -1. That's going to be a pitcher's card. Can Mahler get out of this one? A 2-3 looks as though he will, and that will be a strikeout for Bauer. And the New York 1956 squad does not tack on any more runs, but they do hold a 5-0 lead going into the bottom of the 8th. We are now going to have to roll on the 3rd inning past his max stamina for Whitey Ford. We roll a 6, and this time it is a -2. He goes down to a 3-2. That's a pretty big hit on stamina. Let's see if Cincinnati can take advantage of that. Billy Hatcher will be the batter. It's going to now be an equal roll for him. It's a pitcher's card, though, still for Ford. 6-9 is going to be a base hit. Hatcher reaches for the 3rd time. Paul O'Neill will come up. Cincinnati still looking for their first run of the game. It's going to be equal roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Ford. A 5-5 is a flyout. Flyout is going to go to right. Eric Davis now up. 1 on, 1 out. He's 0 for 3. It's going to be +1. That's going to be a batter's card for Eric Davis. A 6-6 is a possible error on a flyout to right field. So a possible error by Bauer here. Going to roll on his primary chart. We roll a 4, and it is indeed an error. So that error is going to put runners at 1st and 2nd now, with 1 away, and Hal Morris coming up. Is this Cincinnati's big inning? Let's see what can happen here. It's going to be a -1. That's going to be a batter's card for Morris. A 4-5 is a ground ball. This could be trouble. A ground ball to first base. Collins is a 4 defender on Eric Davis, who has some speed. He's going to need it to beat this out to continue this inning. He does not beat it out. That is going to be a 3-6. The shortstop covering second is a 4 in McDougald on Morris, who needs a 3-4-5 to be safe on the fielder's choice. He does not get it. A big 3-6-4 double play to end the bottom of the 8th and the threat for Cincinnati as we go to the top of the 9th for 1956 New York, as they lead 5-0. And it's going to be the bottom of the order coming up, so we're going to keep Mahler in there until he gets into trouble. And Skowron, who has reached every single time, and that includes an error by the catcher, will be the first batter. It's going to be righty versus righty. It's going to be +1. That's going to be a pitcher's card. A 3-10 is going to be a ground out. A ground out is going to go to short, 6-3. So he is out for the first time. Joe Collins, the batter. Righty versus lefty is going to be equal roll. That's going to be a batter's card for Collins. A 9-5 is a base hit. Collins is proven to be a difficult out for Cincinnati, as he has reached 4 out of 5 times. Billy Martin, the batter. It's going to be righty versus righty, equal roll. That's going to be a pitcher's card for Mahler. A 4-8 is a pop out, as Martin gets jammed and will pop out to short. Andy Carey now the batter. 2 away, 1 man on. It's going to be righty versus righty, -1. That's going to be a batter's card for Carey. A 4-9 looks like Mahler will get out of the inning on a fly out to left. That's going to do it here in the top of the 9th. We now head to the bottom of the 9th, and that will be 4 innings past. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. for Whitey Ford. That -2 really hurt his chances of getting a complete game here, so I think we are going to take him out. And we are going to head to the bullpen for 1956 New York. And that is going to bring in Tom Morgan, a 4.16 ERA, 1.42 whip, had 11 saves in 1956. He's just a 2-2. The pen, not so strong for 1956 New York, but having a 5-0 lead. I think this is the route they will go without having to roll on Ford. So, Morgan is a right-handed pitcher. He can go 2 innings if need be. He has a 2 against righties and a 2 against lefties, and that's going to bring up Todd Benzinger. Benzinger will be batting from the left side. It's going to be equal roll, and it's going to be a pitcher's card for Morgan. A 4-3 is going to be a ground out to second base. So a 4-3 will be the first out here in the bottom of the 9th. Chris Sabo, the batter. Cincinnati down to their last 2 outs. Sabo has reached all 3 times here, as he is 3 for 3 with a double and 2 singles. So righty versus righty, it's -1. And it's going to be a pitcher's card. A 3-4. Let's see. Yep, 3-4 is going to be a ground out. And that ground out will go to first, a 3-U. First time Sabo is retired. And now I'll bring up Jeff Reed now. Final out for Cincinnati. A left-handed batter. It's going to be equal roll here. That's going to be a batter's card for Reed. A 1-4 is going to be a strikeout. Morgan cuts down Jeff Reed for the final out of the game. And Cincinnati has been defeated by 1956 New York, who are now your newest Kings of the Hill. And I think this is a pretty easy call. I think we have to give Whitey Ford your player of the game, as he was just phenomenal, going 8 innings, having not given up a run to this Cincinnati offense, who has been running some pretty good games here in the King of the Hill tournament. Before we do some statistics and everything, I hope you guys can hit that thumbs up, leave a comment for me on this fantastic matchup, as 1956 New York American League is victorious in Game 26 of the King of the Hill tournament by a score of 5-0. Now, Whitey Ford, take a look at his numbers here. He walks away with the victory. Morgan gets a no decision. Ford went 8 innings and allowed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. No runs, no earned runs. He walked 1 batter and struck out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 batters while facing 32. Morgan went 1 inning, did not give up a hit or any runs or any walks. He struck out 1 while facing just 3. Jackson on the other side, though, he pitched 5 innings. He'll get the loss. Mahler will get the no decision. Mahler gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits in those 5 innings, allowing 4 runs, 3 of those earned. He walked 1, 2, 3, 4. This is Danny Jackson. Sorry if I think I said Mahler. He struck out 1, 2, 3, 4 batters and faced 27. No home runs. Mahler, on the other hand, he did give up the big home run to Mickey Mantle. He went 4 innings while giving up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Allowed the 1 run, which was that home run, while walking 2, striking out 1, and faced 18 batters. Going into the fatigue tracker is going to be Ford. We're going to go ahead and put a line here, as Cincinnati is no longer in the tournament. Ford went 8 innings. That will be a -2. He took a -2 in the game, and it's going to be 5 days rest needed for Ford. Morgan came in. He'll just get 1 for the appearance. So Ford will need some rest if they're going to continue in the tournament and make it to his next start. But 1956 New York American League walks away victorious on the heels of a great pitching effort by Whitey Ford, a long solo bomb by Mickey Mantle. And you know what? The bottom of the order just was fantastic, all the way from Joe Collins, Billy Martin. Yogi Berra reached 3 out of 4 times with a double run scored. So a fantastic offensive display that you would expect from 1956 New York American League. And now we'll do it here for Game 26 of the King of the Hill tournament. We'll have a challenger vote coming up in a Facebook group page, so pay attention to that and look for that. But as of for now, 1956, your newest Kings of the Hill. I appreciate you guys joining me here. Hope you had a great time with this fantastic game. Have a great night.